So it looks like despite everything that's happened in the Tournament of Power, this is going to be Vegeta's biggest moment in making or breaking his character. Let's talk about it. So with Dragon Ball Super having to confirm its conclusion as we make our way towards Dragon Ball Super episode 131, which will indefinitely be the final episode of Dragon Ball Super, it looks like we have some brand new spoilers going into Dragon Ball Super episode 126, and that specific episode is going to be crucial, especially if you are a Vegeta fan. Now, why is that? Well, two things. Number one, Vegeta is going to continue his battle with Jiren. Number two, Vegeta is also going to face the now known God of Destruction Toppo alongside having to fight Jiren at the exact same time. Now what's interesting about this is we have a brand new preview image from Fuji.tv which showcases Toppo in all of his glory having to fire off an energy blast off in the distance, and you can tell based on his body he has some sort of a design on his chest. He seems to be a bit more muscular, and out in the distance we also get to see how it looks like the atmosphere has once again changed. Instead of it being black as it originally was and going into green, it looks like now it has a purplish like haze. Now one of many reasons as to why this is because the tournament at that very point is possibly dwindling down towards the final 5 minutes of the Tournament of Power. And with that being said, based on the brand new spoilers, it looks like Vegeta in his newly found Super Saiyan Blue power is not only going to be fighting Jiren, but also Toppo at the exact same time, which kind of indicates and tells us that going forward, we don't really have a definitive conclusion if Frieza and or 17 are going to be tossed out of the ring. Now the reason why this is so important is because as we go into Dragon Ball Super episode 125 and beyond, we come to the understanding that as we make our way towards episode 126, 17 and Frieza are still in the tournament. But as we go into Dragon Ball Super episode 126, it looks like 17 and Frieza are working as a cohesive unit and using rocks and gathering Frieza's psychic powers and using that to their advantage against Toppo, all while Toppo redirects his focus in targeting Vegeta, more or less 17 and Frieza. And the reason why is because Jiren at that given point could be getting overwhelmed from the immense power that Goku and Vegeta are producing. Not saying that Jiren doesn't have a chance, but it's been proven before that Jiren has been thrown a bit off guard with Goku and Vegeta's simultaneous movements and attacks, so maybe to even the score, Toppo steps in assisting his friend in fighting off both Goku and Vegeta. Now I think if anything is going to come out of episode 126 is going to be the inevitable elimination of Vegeta, and here's why. The reason why I think that Vegeta might be the next one to go is because number one, it's very unexpected. Who would think that arguably the second strongest character Beerus has on Team Universe 7 would get tossed out before anybody else currently remaining in that tournament setting, which involves Goku, Frieza, and Android 17. If anything, speculation were to occur that a lot of us were to originally assume that 17 would be the next one to go, but according to episode 126 spoilers, 17 is still in the ring. Now this could be because as we transition into Dragon Ball Super episode 127, the original provisional title states the final barrier of hope, and the only person right now currently in the tournament that's able to create any kind of barrier to protect themselves and or his friends is Android 17. Now unless in a moment's notice they decide to have Android 17 be wrung out before Vegeta, that would be okay I guess, considering that 17 has already served his purpose. He's done a lot for the team, arguably more so than anybody else, and using that barrier of his to not only break down in defeating Anilaza, but also saving certain members of the team when needed be. I just feel like as we go into episode 126, episode 127, I don't see Vegeta having to come out of this unscathed, considering that, you know, depending on how Toppo is coming out of 126, he's obviously going to be bearing that of Hakai energy. He's going to be presenting more or less as to why he is a candidate to be a god, and with that kind of power mixed in with Jiren, I don't see anybody else other than Ultra Instinct Goku having to go up against them coming out of this in one piece. Now there is a plausible way for Vegeta to have his moment in concluding his fight with Toppo and either having Vegeta and Toppo go out at the exact same time, time, because the original fight between Toppo and Vegeta was very underwhelming. It was boring, it dragged on, and it had no substance, considering that now looking at it, both of them were holding back. Toppo in suppressing that God of Destruction like power, and Vegeta now suppressing the Super Saiyan Blue powers we see him using in his fight against Jiren. So it goes without question that looking back on it now, both fighters were holding back, but now as we go into episode 126 and episode 127, we could now legitimately say that the gloves are off, and now both characters can demonstrate as to what they can truly do. And looking back on it now, it's like Toppo out of all people? With his shirt torn off? Jeez. It's going to be fitting to finally see what Toppo can really do in the Tournament of Power, considering the fact that he hasn't done anything to begin with. This whole time, he's been dabbing, and he's been pretty much giving out orders to Kunchi and Dispo, and even telling Jiren to conserve his stamina the whole time, and now all of a sudden, once his shirt gets blown off, it's like all hell is unleashed. So hopefully enough we get to see more from Toppo, but I do feel as if one of two things are gonna happen indefinitely. Either A, Vegeta's gonna get tossed out. Vegeta is going to get tossed out, but not without putting up an effort, a fight that proves his character as to why he is the Prince of all Saiyans, as to why he is a very established fighter, and doing damage to either A or B targets, that being Toppo or Jiren, or B, we might see the likely scenario of Vegeta grabbing Toppo and going out with him. So there could be a double elimination, considering that there are going to be 2 separate weeks coming up during February and March where there isn't going to be a Dragon Ball Super episode. So to make up for that, for them to get the episodes out quicker and for the tournament to die on down faster, I do think that at some given point, just like Gohan and Dispo, we're bound to see at least 2 characters go out in a singular episode. And if that's the case, then all that's pretty much left, if Toppo and Vegeta are gone, are going to be Goku, 17, and Golden Frieza. And that's a very interesting pairing, considering that both 17 and Frieza have history with Goku in trying to previously kill him and was looking for him, but now we see them more or less working together. But the only other person I would be mainly concerned about is Frieza. Not saying that he wouldn't cooperate in helping Goku or 17 out, but I really don't see Frieza sticking on by until the end in looking after Goku until they ring out Jiren, because at some given point I do think he will backstab somebody, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen sooner than you think. But despite that being said, if Vegeta goes, if Vegeta is defeated by Toppo, how exactly would you feel about that? Would you essentially call BS just like everybody else? Or would you ultimately learn to accept it in the idea that a God of Destruction candidate simply has more power than what a full-powered Super Saiyan Blue can arguably do? I mean, because we don't really know as to what state of divinity Vegeta is in, if he has mastered Super Saiyan Blue, if he has some sort of like an ascended Super Saiyan Blue form. We just don't know, because there is no information to provide us with context as to what that is. So it's arguable to say that with Toppo unleashing this God of Destruction like power, it could be enough to even overwhelm that of Vegeta's new power, maybe putting him relative, maybe putting Toppo relative to a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku or beyond. And let's say this power does place Toppo even beyond a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20, that's good. That's good, because who else besides Jiren can push Goku into unlocking Ultra Instinct? Think about that. If Jiren's too busy fighting off Vegeta, or if he holds off 17 or Frieza, or if something else happens to him to where he's distracted and just removed from the picture, now we can finally see Toppo fight Goku, and finally getting the chance to see their rematch prior to the Zen Exhibition match, as they were gonna go all out originally before the Grand Prix stopped the fight. And what better way to have somebody like Toppo with all of this energy, with all of this power having to manifest onto the surface, beat Goku down so bad, just like Kefla and Jiren prior to Toppo, initiates and activates this power once again by a process of beating Goku down so bad to where Goku has no other option left but to tap back into this state of subconsciousness and reawakening Ultra Instinct. Think about how much more meaningful it would be to see somebody else aside from Jiren once more reignite this power, and only as an end result getting a chance to see Ultra Instinct Goku having to square off against God of Destruction Toppo at their fullest, and finally getting closure to their original fight during the Zen Exhibition match. And then, only then, if you want to have the final fight come down to Goku and Jiren, that would be the best way to do it, because considering that factor, we would have 17, Frieza, and Goku remaining in the ring, having to battle against Jiren. Only then could I see Toppo get rung out by Goku, and seeing Jiren ring out 17, and thus leaving both Goku and Frieza in the ring to fight the monster known as Jiren. But going back to Vegeta, I don't see Vegeta lasting, considering that he's going to be fighting two very overwhelmingly powerful characters, and the idea that Vegeta doesn't have Ultra Instinct to protect himself with, so how far can he really go? He's having a hard time fighting Jiren as it is, so imagine having Toppo step in and having him be an influence in that fight. It would really be an unfair advantage for Vegeta in going in there and fighting two supremely powerful characters by himself and expecting for him to pull off a victory. As I said before, I don't want Vegeta to go. If anything, I personally want to see Android 17 go before Vegeta, because I do feel like Vegeta has more to offer. And I think that if the chips are down for Vegeta, I can definitely see him sacrificing himself and grabbing Toppo and grabbing Jiren and trying to take them out with him. But essentially enough, you have to ask yourself, will Toppo or Jiren, if not both, allow Vegeta to do that? Which is why I think that towards the end of all of this, Vegeta's gonna go, or maybe they might swerve us all in having both 17 and Vegeta go, and thus leaving Frieza and Goku in the ring, left to fight off both Toppo and Jiren 2-on-2. Golden Frieza having to fight God of Destruction Toppo while Goku squares off against Jiren. Very interesting concept. But in the end, I would like to know what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Do you guys believe that with both Toppo and Jiren having to square off against Vegeta, it's just going to be a tad bit overwhelming for him? I would like to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, guys, if you guys enjoyed it and want to see more videos like this. Leave a like as well. And to top it all off, make sure you guys are following me at Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. I will leave links to all those down in the description box, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace!